So today we have another update to two of the most interesting storylines in WWE at the moment. That is, of course, the Retribution and everything going on with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. These two stories have become some of my favorite stories to discuss. So whenever there's some new information and updates regarding these stories, I just love to cover it. So let's take a look at today's wrestling news and the latest updates to these two major storylines. Starting off first with Retribution. We got some new attacks from them and some comments from CM Punk about this group. So let's check back in with this story. Retribution made their biggest impact on SmackDown a few weeks ago when they literally tore the SmackDown arena apart. They followed that attack up with a small cameo on Raw. They didn't do anything major on Raw that specific week. All they did was flip this car and break this little glass door at the Performance Center. This glass door was the same glass door we saw the Street Profits and Viking Raiders break just a few months ago. So that wasn't that impressive and groundbreaking. We saw that same door break before, so not anything too new there, but it's still something. Retribution then appeared on SmackDown once again, and they had another strong showing on SmackDown. Don't know if WWE is doing this on purpose or if it's accidental, but Retribution seems to be making stronger attacks towards SmackDown. All they did this week on Raw was take over the production truck, which was still a big deal, but it just looks like SmackDown is getting hit harder. That's 2 weeks in a row that Retribution went light on Raw, but 2 weeks in a row that they really went after SmackDown. It doesn't look like their problem is with any individual brand. It looks like their problem is with WWE. So Retribution made their presence felt right away during the opening minutes on SmackDown last week. They interrupted the opening match, and the locker room is forced to make a decision on how they want to handle this. Security is pulled all around the arena after the attack at the start of the show. I like this because it really made sense and was a strong opener from the show. We just saw this group rip this SmackDown set apart just 1 week prior, so why would they just allow WWE to have another peaceful show? It really makes sense for them to hijack this show in the opening minutes and really set the tone. That makes perfect sense. What was even more funny was that WWE didn't even have security there in the first place. I mean, after everything we saw in the closing moments of SmackDown a few weeks ago, you would think WWE would be more protective of the show. But WWE had no security at ringside at all at the start. They waited until Retribution attacked again to put security at ringside. So now, Big E and Morrison come back out to have the match that was supposed to take place in the opening minutes, with the ring guarded by the locker room talent for extra support from another Retribution attack. Turns out that Retribution is one step ahead, and they decide to ruin the backstage area since everyone is at ringside. That's another great move by Retribution, and it's common sense. If everyone is out at ringside, just attack the locker room. We see them spray paint a WWE logo with a red line going through it once again. That seems to be an important reoccurring symbol for the group that we see every week. The symbol is pretty self-explanatory. The Retribution group is completely anti-WWE. Another thing Retribution seems to be doing well is messing with the lights in the arena, which just seems to be a bit weird for me. I mean, you have all these members going crazy and destroying everything backstage, but there is one specific Retribution member that's assigned to stand at the light switch and just flip it on and off. The whole messing with the lights thing from Retribution is strange, but I guess you can explain it by saying they're just attacking the control panels and all the production trucks. I like what Retribution is doing so far. We understand that they don't like WWE, but I feel like they need a voice to just give some background to their motives so we can understand them more. Even the WWE hacker had a Twitter account and was tweeting messages about his intentions. So I think something similar to that will be great for Retribution. Maybe they get a Twitter account and they can provide some messages to go along with their attacks. I think that can definitely work. The part that I'm interested to know about the most is just their motive. It's obvious that WWE must have seriously wronged these superstars in the past. Because why are they so angry with WWE? Are they a group of superstars that were released, or are they a group of newer talent that just got tired of being ignored by WWE? so they took matters into their own hands. I feel like all of that is a possibility right now. Even CM Punk has been talking about Retribution a lot lately. Of course, CM Punk was involved in a lot of fan theories for Retribution, and in typical CM Punk fashion, he always trolls the fans about all their theories. Who can forget when he showed up as a SmackDown hacker on WWE backstage? Well, now, CM Punk has started his usual trolling for all the Retribution theories. It all started when the WWE on Fox Twitter account posted CM Punk's advice to Rey Mysterio that he should shave Seth Rollins' hair off. Well, Punk responded to that tweet by saying, "I'm just saying, I know a thing or two about Retribution." The reason why this tweet went viral is because we obviously have this big new group in WWE called Retribution. So people really overreacted to the fact that Punk just used the word Retribution. Punk did later address the Retribution group with a suggestion for their background story and had this to say on Twitter: "Retribution members should be the grandchildren of all the heads of former territories, led by Greg Gagne." He later responded to his own tweet by saying, "Gosh, some of you just aren't ready for long-term storytelling." So even though he most likely wasn't 100% serious, that's still one idea there by CM Punk. That seems to be the best guess right now, though. WWE had to wrong these superstars so badly that this was the only option left for them to take. I'm loving the attacks, but that can only go so far for so long. The attacks will have to come to an end eventually because it's just going to get old after a while. What I would love to see is one of these members grab a mic and just give us a little more detail about what's going on. Maybe they can tell us what specific things WWE did to them, and that's why they're not going to let them have a show in peace. Just something like that so we can really understand where they're coming from. WWE just announced their big move to the new WWE Thunderdome Arena. So that's another great spot for Retribution to attack. It's literally a brand new expensive arena. It's a perfect opportunity for them to go in there and ruin that brand new arena. That's something that I would love to see as well, so we'll have to keep an eye out. In other news, Alexa Bliss took part in the first non-WWE interview after her last few weeks with The Fiend, and she revealed that she was legitimately terrified during that first SmackDown segment with The Fiend. She said, "It's like a fear of being frozen or not being able to react. You know when you're so afraid of something that you don't even know how to scream or how to breathe properly, and you just kind of freeze up? That's what it's like. I mean, that mask itself and the lantern is terrifying. And to have The Fiend standing behind you, not being able to see him at first, that's terrifying. Yeah, it was definitely a frozen type of fear." So even though she knew what would happen, Alexa says it was still a scary moment to be involved in. Alexa always gets compliments for her amazing acting during big moments like this one, but we now know that's what made the acting so much easier for her, was the fact that she was legitimately scared. WWE is currently on fire with a Braun Strowman, Alexa Bliss, and Bray Wyatt segments. All of these segments involving those three superstars continue to pull the biggest numbers of the night, and it shows that the fans are really invested in these storylines. We'll have to continue watching to see what's next for these three superstars, but I'll continue to update you as more information on this story is released. What are your thoughts on CM Punk's Retribution comments and Alexa's comments about working with The Fiend? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.